Go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the C Podcast. As always, my name is Shogunshin, and I am joined by my co-host Hex Ginkgo. This is basically just a variety podcast where Hex and I kind of get together, talk about stuff that's been happening to us, things that we've been playing, things that we've been interested in, and all that good stuff. I think this is the third episode, third official episode.
We're bad at this.
We're really bad at this.
We're bad at remembering.
I'm pretty sure it's three. I'm pretty sure it's the third one.
I'm pretty sure it's three.
I'm
three official.
fairly certain it's the third one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna go on your YouTube and check.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the third one. As you can clearly see, my hair has. I've classified the length of my hair as anime protagonist long, and I've also kind of run out of hair gel, so I've given up in.
Oh no! No, this is 4.
Oh, this is 4.
Oh wait, no.
No,
you have them. Oh, 0.2. Okay, so this is 3. Okay.
Yeah. So this is this is 3, right?
Yep. No, this is 3.
Yeah.
You're
okay.
Right.
Okay. Oh,
we're fine.
You scared me for a second. I was like, oh no. Okay. Yeah. No, we're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. But so the first thing that I want to talk about, obviously, is the Final Fantasy VII remake. We talked about that was like literally the only thing we talked about last time.
Yep.
And so at the time of recording that, we both
you and I were pretty much in the same place.
Yeah, we were chapter 2, 3, if that.
4. I was just about at 4, I think.
Yeah. So we had just started that. I have completed the game, and you are in what chapter?
Almost done with chapter.
Almost
8.
done with chapter 8.
I believe all I have to do is fight Rude, which I know is coming up because of trailer and understanding how the game goes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'll say right off the bat, I liked playing it. I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to give it like a rating now, I'd probably give it like a solid 8.5. I would say. The combat was still like even getting through the rest of the game. Combat was still kind of weird just because of, it's like, I think when you get to the end of the game, you get into a very comfortable position of like, okay, I know how this works, I know how the mechanics work, but like if someone dies on your team, it's so hard to stabilize. It's like almost impossible because the fact that you have to have. You just need ATB for anything, and if you can't get shots in, like, oh my god,
and if you can't gain ATB because you're trying to dodge and not die, then it's hard.
Yeah, like
which is what I was noticing when I was playing with Aerith and Cloud in Chapter 8.
Yeah,
it's a little rough.
It gets super, super, super rough. But I would say like that was definitely like a big kind of problem that I had, but. And then also, a major problem that I had in the game that, thankfully, I thought it was just me because I'm bad, but I guess a lot of my other friends also had said that they struggled with was animation lock. Animation lock, like, so many times boned me, and I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I'm trying to cast Braver, and then it's like, and then I get hit by a fire, and then I'm like, and then it's like, oh, well, my ATB gauge is gone. Okay, that's fucking cool.
Or you're casting like Braver or something like that, and they fucking just move away from you.
Or they just move.
And so you just
Braver
miss,
is single-handedly the worst ability if an opponent is not stationary or pressured or staggered.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so
It is
brutal.
Hands down Cloud's worst ability. Because at least full assault, full thruster, fuck, I don't remember what it's called. You know what I'm talking about. That one ability where you jab forward.
Focus thrust. Yeah.
That ability can whiff if you are accidentally way too far away.
Yeah.
Because that's happened to me so many times where I'm like, hey, I'm a good distance away from this enemy, and then they just dodge back like 20 feet, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm just using this as a gap close.
So one of the nothing feels worse though. Like speaking of missing abilities for ATB, nothing feels worse than you limit breaking and you just whiff the limit break, because I've done that before, because I'm like, this was early on. I think I was fighting this was after Wall Market when you get thrown to the sewers, so you're not there yet. But I was fighting the boss there, and I was like, all right, I got a limit break, because I either nail this limit break or I'm dead. And I was like, I said it on stream too. I'm like, I'm gonna really, really hope that I close this gap, and I did not close this gap. Cloud stood there in the middle of the room and cross-slashed, and I was like, oh my god, no, like, please.
That's how I feel when I play Cloud in Smash.
Dude,
I'm just standing there. I'm just like, I'm gonna cross-slash till they walk into it.
There was another part where, point 2, where I limit break. I think it was as Tifa, because she had limit break, but she had just died. And so, like, I picked her up with a Phoenix down. I used the limit break, and I died while using it. So it just stopped. Like, it was like, oh, I've just wasted half my limit break now because I'm not getting that back at all. And I was just like, oh god, it was so rough. I will say that the final, you're not there yet, but the final battle, like for the end of the game,
I watched it.
Oh my god, I
watched you do it.
Oh, that set me off so bad, because like I'm pretty sure I got almost all the way through it. Like literally I was at the last part, and you've watched this, you've seen this happen, but you fight basically Bahamut, basically, and he does like, I want to say like probably 30 seconds into the fight, he'll like do attacks, and then he'll do Mega Flare as like a spell. And I thought it was going to be like all the other times that you fight bosses, where they're like charging an attack and you have to either like stagger them, but you basically have to stagger them in order to stop it, or else, you get taken a lot of damage. No, it was like, he's casting Mega Flare. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go in and try and stagger it. And then he was done, like 2 seconds went by, and he was like, alright, Mega Flare's going off now. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then that was when I was just like, I can't stabilize fast enough, because every time I try to like put a Phoenix down, try to like raise somebody, like I get interrupted, they just die immediately, and I was just like, I can't come back. And then to top of that off, if that wasn't bad enough, if you die, you start over at the very beginning of the fight. So I was just like, awesome, I was already here for like 15 minutes, I have to now do this again? Like, this is insanity. Oh my god, I was so mad. I was furious. But I do like, as far as like playing through the game itself, mechanics aside, I did like it a lot. I thought the story was really, really good. I liked the little differences and the little details that they added in. Like, I really love Leslie as a character in Wall Market. I think actually Leslie might be my favorite character in this game, because Leslie's fucking awesome.
I'll have to look out for them when I get there.
Where are you again?
I'm in the Sector 5 slums.
Okay, you're in Sector 5. Okay, yeah. You'll meet Leslie, and Leslie is like, dude, Leslie really is soon. Great. I love Leslie so much. But yeah, I love the little subtle details that they put in to kind of make the game a lot more feel a lot more vibrant. And I also love the I like how the game still does a good job at like kind of throwing a nod to old Final Fantasy, or the OG Final Fantasy 7. Because like in the final battle, there are certain cutscenes that you get as you go through with it, and it's like all the characters kind of get like visions or something, like future vision, like future visions.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, and like a lot of the things are like, oh, this is stuff that happened in the original Final Fantasy 7. So it's actually really cool, because like they have like the scene of like Red and his children running at the end of the game. They have Aerith dying, or glimpses of that, and then I think there's one more scene that I can't quite remember, but there was
Cloud jumping up towards Sephiroth descending.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. And so like
I don't think there was anything for Tifa or Barrett.
No, I don't think so. But so I like the nod that they give to the OG 7 while still, making it a different game, and I am really curious as to how they're going to tie everything together because of
They kind of broke it.
They broke everything, and I think, and it's really cool that that's a plot point too. Like, I like the fact that it is different is a plot point of like, oh, this is
there's a
how
reason why
it's not
just because, hey, we're doing this to piss everybody off. We're doing this because we want to make it different, and here's a justification.
Yeah, and I like that it's like, oh, this is different. Why is it different? Like, well, you'll find out. Like, oh, okay, that's really cool. I also don't appreciate the cliffhanger at the end, because you and I both saw it, like our boy, our baby boy. You want to believe that he made it, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, but did he though?
The only so I'm 90% sure Jesse's dead. I'm pretty sure Jesse's dead.
Say that again?
I'm 90% sure Jesse's dead. Like, I'm pretty sure Jesse died.
Yeah, I mean, like...
We don't know about Wedge, because we didn't actually see anything.
We don't know about Wedge. If he did die, I'm going to be really upset if he died.
And that was really the only thing that I wanted to see. I was like, I really want to see Wedge bounce again.
Dude, the way that Wedge dies, quote-unquote, is so... If that's how he dies, I'm going to be furious, because I feel like they did him so dirty in how he dies, because I'm just like, really? That's just, like, you're just tying a loose end real quick there. I'm like, oh, we missed that. Okay, because I feel like if that's how it ends for Wedge, I feel like the way that happened, or what that was planned, was that, like, okay, so, you know, Biggs, Jesse, Wedge, they all die, and like, no, Wedge is still alive. Like, oh fuck, we gotta fix that real quick. Like, it's gonna feel so bad. But I mean, like, Biggs made it, at least. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm very conflicted that Biggs lives, because I'm just like, oh, Biggs is cool, don't get me wrong, but I was just like, okay. Like, out of the three, I'm like, okay,
I mean,
cool.
Okay. Of the three, obviously everybody wanted Jesse.
Obviously, yes.
Well, not everybody, because there are people who don't like Jesse. That's fine.
Most people.
but it's like, of the three, she's much more the established character.
Yeah.
And then Biggs, and then Wedge.
Yeah.
I feel like Wedge is the most dispensable character of the three of them. Not that he's he's bad. I think he's, they're all much better characters than they were originally. Yeah. Because they actually have, personalities and lines and whatnot.
I mean, it's upsetting that it's like you go... Like, and I said this in the beginning of, like, I have developed an emotional attachment, and I'm like, this is awkward because I know that they're going to die. And I'm like, this sucks because I know it's going to happen. But hey, at least we got Biggs. At least we got him.
One out of three. That's
okay. 1 out of 3.
So, in terms, to go along with, like, these characters getting a lot of expansion on them, I have found that both Cloud and Barrett are a lot more likable and relatable. Yes. Because, I mean, one, we're getting more dialogue from them instead of just, like, snippy bits every once in a while. Where it's just like, you always knew that Barrett was a good dad, but now we actually get to see him being a good dad. And, like, he actually... You understand why he cares about the planet. Yeah. And, like, the extent to which he does care about the planet. Instead of just being a dick and shooting bullets on a plane to scare people, or not a plane, on a train to scare people. Yeah. And just being like, oh yeah, Avalanche is great. We're so great. And it's like, no, Avalanche is doing this for a reason. People should understand that. It's like, he seems more like focused, which I like. And Cloud, while like in the first mission, he comes off as a dick because that's how he came off in the original. Yeah. But he very quickly, like once he meets up with Tifa again, you notice he's just so much more friendly to everybody. And I mean, and he's still like stoic and hard on the outside. Yeah. But there was this one interaction that he had in a Sector 5 side mission where he is they asked him to go fight the Toad King, which that is that fight goes with another one of my bullet points that I have written down here. But his interaction with the kids was like, he's like, they were saying, oh yeah, a soldier could take care of that, no problem. He's like, maybe, I probably could, but I don't do anything for free or cheap. And they're like, well, we don't have anything. We'll give you a treasure. And another kid's like, and I'll pay all of the money off once I open my shop or whatever. And the last kid's like, you know what? Screw this. We'll just go fight him on our own. And he realizes, oh shit, this kid's serious. He's gonna get himself killed. These kids are going to die. Yeah, and he's like, all right, I'll tell you what. 3 gil. And then he's what was it? I'm running a special deal on Toad King jobs right now.
Yeah.
It was just like,
yeah.
Aw.
It's like it's really like, cute.
Seriously, I paused it. And I just had a big old smile on my face. I was like, that was great.
Yeah, it's really, really cute. I complained about it on stream because I was like, 3 gil? Really, Cloud? You could have at least done 2 each. At least get 10 gil out of it. Like, there are 5 kids there. Like,
we're a lot of kids.
Or bare minimum, 1 gil each just to get 5 gil. Like, at least make it like a somewhat even number. Like, come on, Cloud. Really?
Well, there were 3 enemies you had to fight.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but I was like, I was so annoyed. I was like, 3
I mean, you also
like
get a nail bat.
Number. That's true.
So
the nail bat, by the way, is awesome.
Oh, also, don't know if you didn't notice or not, you don't get that 3 gil. They just give you the bat.
Oh, do you really not?
I'm pretty sure.
I never noticed.
I'm almost positive.
I never noticed that, actually. That's funny.
There were a couple things that... So I hadn't had any way to interact with Chadley for a while, because I was inside Maker Reactor 5 for so long, I think it was. So when I finally get into the Sector 5 slums and I'm done with doing all that stuff and I meet up with Chadley again, there was a really interesting thing that I noticed, and I was really happy was once I got to him, he gave me new missions. But the missions were already completed because I had already done all this stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to, hey, you've already assessed 15 enemies,
but do it again.
But now you have to do it again. It's like, no, you already did this, so congratulations, you get this shit for free. And I was like, oh my god, this is like the single coolest thing.
That was one of those like little quality
that
of life
made me
things. I was like,
happy.
oh, that's so nice. Like, that's so nice.
And once I did that, all I had to do was fight another random, or like a specifically named enemy, and Shiva. And Aerith had disappeared from my party right before the Shiva thing, and I was like, I wonder how hard this is gonna be. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
Dude, you fight the summons that I've
fucking.
Dude, Shiva's pretty difficult. Dude, you think Shiva's painful? You fight Leviathan. Leviathan fucking hurts.
If you don't time your Fyras really well. Because most of the time that I noticed, like, sometimes my fires wouldn't knock her off balance.
Yeah.
Every time my Fyra would definitely knock her off balance. So that was frustrating. And Aerith's magic stat is insane. Aerith's magic stat, 1 cure does what 1 Cura does for Tifa.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I don't need to use items
You're
anymore.
getting proficiencies, right?
Proficiencies?
For your weapons?
Yeah.
Making sure you're getting...
I've gotten proficiencies with every weapon... All of Cloud... Well, the 2 weapons that I have for Cloud, I just got the nail bat and then I stopped. I wasn't using Aerith's. I got the Storm... whatever. I got her second...
Storm.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Storm. So I took care of that one. I still have to get do her first one. Barrett's takes forever to get focused shot for some goddamn reason.
Really?
And yeah, I'm only at like 70%, and I use focus shot a lot.
Dude, every time I got a new weapon, I would literally just spam the thing until it told me I got it. Like literally, I would just spam it.
Well, that's what I started to do with both Cloud. Well, actually, I didn't have to do it with Cloud because I was like, every time I got a new sword, I was like, ooh, what's this ability do?
Yeah.
And then Tifa's like, hers are super spammable anyway. Yeah. So I was like, hell yeah.
Dude, what is it? Focus Strike? So awesome. Because it just refunds your ATB. And I'm like, that's amazing.
Exactly.
I will say that I don't know about, I don't know how Tifa is for your team, but Tifa on my team is real squishy. She's real,
she's pretty squishy.
Like, she packs a punch, but oh man, you juggle her, oh god, she's dead.
Yeah.
And it's a bad time.
I had to have So during the Reactor 5 thing, I had to have her as my magic user, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
At all.
Right.
Because so I had her attacks buffed up, but as much as I could, because I planned to use her how she's intended to be played, as just like a really fast brawler. And then I realized that wasn't going to happen. So I just loaded her up with all of my healing materia. Like, I had barrier, raise, cleanse, heal, and like everything, and then like fire or something. It was insane. And it worked because I didn't have to focus on using Cloud to heal. But once I got to the like floating boss guy, there was something that I noticed with that fight, in that magic is not as good as abilities.
Yeah.
In specific fights.
Yeah.
Magic is great against little enemies.
Yeah.
Magic is not super good against big enemies. And this is only as far as I've experienced.
Yeah. Do you
Because
have
during that one
the,
fight,
magnify materia at all?
not yet.
Okay.
During that one fight, I noticed how fast focus drive reset your gauges, and focus drive exponentially increases the stagger gauge. So I just kept spamming focus drive until I could stagger the boss, and then I would just use Cloud's Limit, and as many abilities as I could get off of like Focus Shot, Braver, Triple Slash, whatever.
Yeah.
Because magic just wasn't working. Thunder was the only magic ability that was doing anything, and it was not increasing the stagger gauge, and it wasn't doing as much as other abilities.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, guess I'm just spamming abilities.
Yeah, yeah. For me, like, when I learned Triple Slash was like my go-to for if I had more than one enemy. And even if I only had one enemy, like Triple Slash
it's really good.
It's just really, really good. And then one of the last abilities that I got for Cloud was Counter Stance. And I was like, oh,
Don't have that one
this
yet.
is it's
I'm really excited to get it.
You get it like almost right at the end. Like it's like the last weapon you get.
Well, okay, so that's already kind of a thing. I don't know if you have noticed.
Yeah, no, from the Punisher mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and I was like, but that's why I was so happy about it, because the problem that I had with the counter from Punisher mode is the fact that you have to be in Punisher mode. And even then, I also found that certain attacks get through that block, and so it doesn't actually trigger. Well, you can't counter like a fire. Yeah.
And there are definitely certain ones.
Yeah, I mean,
you just have to kind of look out for them.
Yeah, but there are also some other, like, there are some physical abilities, like special abilities that some bosses do or some enemies do that you can't counter them either.
Yeah.
The thing with Counter Stance is that even if no one attacks you, you're still going to attack regardless. Actually, like it's like a channel, and if anyone attacks you in that channel, it'll trigger. But if no one attacks you, it'll still go off. Like, you'll actually still attack with Counter Stance, which is awesome. And then I think
that sounds like a good and a bad thing.
It's a good and a bad, but it's I would say that it's mainly a good, just because of even with if Counter Stance does trigger though, like it outputs just like a serious amount of damage, and I think you either take reduced damage or you're in like entirely invulnerable while that's going off. Because like I used that was like one of the only abilities I used for the final battle was just Counter Stance, because I was like, this is just so good. Yeah, I noticed. Because it also increases the stagger gauge as well, and I'm like, this is amazing. I wish that. So one of the I don't know if you have this battle intel yet, but one of the hardest battle intel missions that I struggled with was I had to get the stagger gauge to 200%.
Yeah. There's a 200 and a 300.
There's a 300?
There's a 300.
I didn't get the 300 one.
So it might be a trophy.
Okay. Oh,
it might not be
a. It's a trophy. Yeah, it's a trophy. But so and for the life of me, I just didn't know. I didn't know how to increase the stagger gauge, because it's like the abilities for characters, I think are very misleading at times, because there are a lot of abilities that you look at them, they're like, oh, they clearly say increases the stagger gauge, and in my head I was like, oh, I think those increase the percentages then, I think, in which they don't do that, and the only ability that I found that increases the percentage for stagger is Tifa's Rise and Fall, Omni Strike, and Rising Uppercut, or Whirling Uppercut.
Fat Chocobo does it too.
Fat Chocobo does it too. Okay, but like if you can't use a summon, then it's like that's what I do. So like what I would do is I would just right before I would stagger an enemy, I would make sure that Tifa had Rise and Fall, and I'd just go to town, because that already outputs like a shit ton of damage already, and I'm like, all right, cool, I got my 200%, I'm good, like awesome, GG's. But like from what I saw, that was the only ability that actually increased the stat gauge, which kind of annoyed me, because I'm just like, okay, I want to try and do this, and I'm trying to figure out what abilities do what, but I'm like, I can't figure it out, because either everything dies too fast, or it's just not doing what I think it's supposed to do, and I'm like, all right, I wish there was a little bit more clarification in that, but it
gave you like a percentage number.
Yeah,
like, hey, we'll multiply it by this much. We'll multiply it by this much.
Or at the very least, just like, I don't know, like maybe there's something in the tutorials that I just missed that I wasn't understanding or something.
Maybe. There is a lot of text in those sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when it told you how to use Aerith's Tempest ability, and it's like, it's just hold triangle.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
There was no reason to have just this 2 paragraphs of text. There's one ability that Aerith has that, oh my god, I'm so bad with it, because the way the animation works, it's so fucking stupid. It's Aerith's, I think it's called Luminous Ray, I think. It's 2 ATB, and it increases the stagger percentage, I'm pretty sure. But the problem is that when she's using it, she's locked in animation, she is constantly channeling, and you can't aim, you can't do anything with it. So if she's firing into like a rock, she's just gonna fire into that rock. She's not moving. And that's a kind of an issue. Oh my god, it's so infuriating. I was in the train graveyard, and you have to fight a ghost there, and fucking for the life of me, I would try to do Luminous Ray, and it's always the ray targets wherever in a straight line, wherever from like where you are to where the boss is being targeted. So, and it's always it always fires at the last second. So let's say like if you have a straight line of sight from you and the boss quickly ducks behind, if he times it right, he ducks behind a mound of rock, Aerith is firing right into that rock, and it's not gonna stop until she's done channeling. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, please, just let me aim the damn beam. Oh. I like that they added new limit breaks. I am sad to see the old system go. Granted, it was really grindy.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's how all Final Fantasy games are. So
yeah, but I liked being able to like build it up by using it more.
Yeah.
But there's also the fact that like the limit gauge was kind of easy to abuse. Because of there were two effects that you could get, and I can't remember what they were. But one increased the limit gauge speed that you would, it increased the speed that you would get the limit gauge, and one decreased the speed that you would get the limit gauge. And I can't remember what they were called. It was like Dizzy and something or other.
I think I want to say Sadness was one of them.
Yeah.
I think Sadness.
Sadness was definitely one of them. I don't remember.
I think it slowed down the limit gauge. I think.
Yeah, Sadness slowed it, and then I can't remember what the one that sped it up was.
Was.
But it was really easy to, but it gave you like some other detrimental effect, like it would the speeding up would like lower your magic stat or something.
Yeah.
And it was really good if you just wanted to grind those out, and it was cool, again, if you were trying to do that. But they didn't have to like take it away entirely, because there are certain limit breaks that we're not going to see again, and that makes me really sad.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see Meteor Strike.
Probably not.
Because that ability was really strong.
It was super strong.
His Cloud's...
the tornado one?
The tornado one and the blade beam. I'm not sure we're going to see blade beam, and that makes me really sad, because that's kind of important to
I think the blade beam, I want to say... I think they converted it into an ability because there is an ability called Blade Burst.
Okay. That might be it. Because Braver did become an ability.
Yeah. Yeah, Braver became an ability, and so there's a ability called Blade Burst, that is sort of similar to Blade Beam, sort of. So I think that perhaps they'll just convert it into an ability, if not they haven't already done so.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but like another small problem that I had in the game was I didn't like that there never felt like a point where I could grind.
That's another one of my bullet points. Leveling is fucking hard.
Yeah, leveling in the game is like difficult actually.
I mean, even if you do every single side quest and fight every single enemy that you can find, I'm only level 18.
Yeah, it wasn't like
I'm in level 18 in chapter 8.
I think throughout my entire time playing the game, I never felt that I was like super crazy overpowered, but I never felt that like I was even on par at times. A lot of times as I was playing through the chapters, I always felt significantly behind.
On the back foot.
Yeah, like I was always on the back foot. I'm like, I don't like. At what point can I at least get on to everyone's level? Like, at what point can I at least do that? And I was like, it wasn't until literally I got to like the very end of the game, like almost the very end of the game, where I'm about to go to Shinra Tower, because that's when you get free reign to just run around the map and do side quests that you haven't done yet. Yeah. Like, it wasn't until then I was like, okay, now I feel like I am at least ahead of the curve. And it's also like
you didn't even max out your level, did you?
No, I didn't. I think I was level 30, low mid 30s, I think. Damn. Is where I was.
That gives me a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, but then also like, I don't know, like I was poor as fuck.
Dude, I don't have any money. Well, I have like 8,000 gil, which does not feel like a lot.
Yeah, I was always strapped for cash playing through, and again, it wasn't until I was about to go to Shinra Tower that I was like, oh hey, I've got 50K in my pocket now.
Which isn't like, so it's like, yeah, you're heading towards the end game, and now you have the ability to grind all this stuff, and where it's like, it would have been nice to be able to get at least one other opportunity during the entirety of this game to do that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious as to how the party system works too, because
there's no PHS.
Yeah, there's no PHS, and something that really bothered me was I hated the fact that I never knew who was going to be in my party next. Like, I felt like the game was just constantly swapping me through people in my party, and I'm like, okay, this is cool and all, but all my
to constantly move your materia.
Yeah, it's like all my materia is in like Aerith has a bunch of materia that I want to level, and Tifa's got materia that is just really really good, and Barrett's got materia that like is really really good, and I'm like, who's going where here? Like, there's a part in Shinra Tower where you have to switch between Cloud and Barrett and Tifa and Aerith. They're in separate teams. And one of literally the last battle intel that I was trying to get, which I didn't complete it, which was unfortunate, was I had to level every single magic materia to max. And so
every single
magic materia. So it's every green materia.
Holy shit!
You have to do every single type of green materia. So that's
a lot.
Yeah, it's healing, cleansing, time, binding, barrier, poison, fire, ice, wind, electric,
lightning,
and poisoner. Poisoner, and there's another one. There's 12 total. Raising, that's it.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay.
yeah, so like
Cleanse
you have to.
isn't on there. Or did you not?
I said cleansing already.
Okay.
Yeah. But so you have to max
Healing,
out
cleansing,
every
revival,
one of
fire,
them.
ice, lightning, barrier, wind, poison, binding, version, and time. Oi!
Oh, subversion. That was it. Yeah, I said cleansing twice. But yeah, you have to max out every single one of them, and I think I have like 9 of 12. I'm only missing 3. But so I mean, like it's really easy too, because eventually you get an AP up materia.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just infuriating because I have to switch between Cloud and Barret and Tifa and Aerith, so I'm just constantly switching my materia around so that way I can fucking level them, and I'm like, oh, please, for the love of God. Like, just give me a party. And then, like, that was another problem that I had with the final boss, too, was that, like, because I'm constantly switching people in and out of my party, there were several points where I'm like getting ready to go into this boss fight, and I'm like, all right, I have to literally just like predict. I'm like, okay, I'm going to assume that Tifa and Barret are going to be at the party. Nope, Barrett's gone and left. It's Tifa and Aerith instead.
Yeah.
All right, well that cool, I guess. Hopefully I can get into the menu real quick and switch my materia around. And I'm just like, this is so dumb. Like, it's so infuriating.
I haven't had that much of an issue. Like I was definitely swapping things around a lot, especially anytime that I got something new. Like, because I started getting a lot of more purple materia.
Yeah.
And those are like, ooh, this is shiny and new.
Yeah.
You know, or I just got steel, and I really like steel in the OG7.
Yeah.
I don't think I like it in this.
I only used it once. I only
Because
used steel once.
of the way that the ATB gauge works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, steel
Because
also
you can
functioned on the ATB
take
in the original.
so much more damage in this than you did before.
Yeah. It's because you have to just cast everything.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna get rid of it, and then I'm just gonna look up a steel list.
Yeah.
Because then it's just like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because it's already maxed out. Like, you don't have to use it for anything.
Yeah. It's also awkward because, like, I wish steel worked more often, or there was more of a reason to use steel. Because I literally only used steel once for the most part. Because there's a boss.
Did you even get anything?
I did, actually. Because the final boss in the train graveyard, if you assess him, it literally says you can get a weapon for Aerith by stealing something from him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like I was like, oh, okay,
things.
I'm gonna actually use steel then, and it's like that's literally the only time I use steel, because I'm like, I assume it would just tell me, I guess, but even still, it's like 75% of the time it just doesn't work, and I'm like, all right.
I don't have assess on Cloud right now, and I need it.
Yeah,
like really bad. But I'm trying to level up my magic
Mm-hmm.
with him, because I almost have Thundaga, I almost have Firaga. And I'm getting closer to Blizzaga with him. And I don't have enough SP yet to get my 4th materia slot on the Buster Sword. I'm really close.
Yeah. Okay.
But as far as I know, unless you get, another materia slot at 5 and 6, then 4 might be the max slots that he gets on the Buster Sword.
I think it is.
And that's not a lot of space.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get other weapons that will have plenty of space on them. I think. Yeah. One of the things that I was definitely like struggling with was just trying to fit materia into places. Yeah. That was like one of the hardest, one of the things I struggled with the most in my playthrough. Because I'm like, all right, cool. My weapons all have 6 materia slots. That's awesome. That's super cool. But my accessories only hold 2 or 3, and I'm like, I just had one more slot. That's all I want, and I just it was just so frustrating. And then because I think Cloud for me had he had assess, enemy skill, and a bunch of other stuff. But those were like the two main ones that I'm like, all right, I want to always have these on me because one, so I can assess all the time. Like that's really good.
Yeah.
And then the enemy skill, I'm like, oh, you have, in order to learn stuff, you obviously have to have it on you. The only problem is that enemy skill, it's a random proc.
Yeah.
And it only works if they use the abilities. If you go through the entire fight and they just
that's the
don't
same
do
way
it,
that the original one worked.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, maybe it's just my luck, but like every time I would assess an enemy and be like, you can learn a skill from it, they just never did it. Mm-hmm. It's like they knew that's like, oh, he's got the enemy skill. Let's not give him that. And I'm like,
you're like
motherfuckers. Like, it always just felt like I was like, I could never do it. I think I learned one thing out of like all the chances that I had. I learned one thing, and I'm like, this is worthless, and I hate this. But I would say overall, like, as much as like gripe about the game, because it sounds like I'm complaining about it a lot. I did like it. I did have a lot of fun. I definitely am really interested in the story and how everything else plays out.
Sure.
You're in the Sector 5 slums, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna be getting out really soon.
Okay, that's fine. There is a boss fight that you're gonna come across in when you get to Wall Market that I want your opinion on, because to me, it is probably literally the worst boss fight in that game.
Or no, that he really didn't like.
Yeah, there's one boss fight.
Is it the house?
It's the house, yeah.
Okay.
It's the Nightmare House.
Everybody says they hate the house.
It's the worst fight. It's so stupid. And I'll tell you why it's so stupid, and then you can eventually tell me if you agree or not. It's stupid because of, one, it cycles through elements, which is like, okay, whatever, cycles through elements, just use the opposite element, easy peasy. The only problem is that it gets to a certain point, you get him down to a certain point, and he'll do an ability, I can't remember what it's called, it's like overdrive mode or something like that, and you literally can't attack, like, he's immune to all damage. And like you can only stagger him when the ability times out. But the only problem is that the window that you have from when it times out to when he casts again is like 2 seconds.
What?
Yeah.
So you really have to know.
So you have
to be really close to him.
Yeah, basically. But you can't.
Well, so it's both.
Yeah. It's just so annoying because it's like when he's in overdrive mode, he gets arms, and so it's like, oh, okay, target the arms, so that way you can at least do damage and try to like get him out of it.
Sure.
Again, problem with the arms is that the arms pop out, and then they go back in, and you can't target them anymore. You've missed your window. Good job. He's now going to fly around and throw chairs at you, and you're just gonna sit there and take it. It's such the moment of opportunities that you have in that fight is like non-existent, and it's definitely one of the most infuriating fights. It's the most infuriating fight.
From what I've heard, that's the kind of the consensus about that is like there's it's hands down pretty much everybody's least favorite part of the game.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's cool for like a couple seconds, and then he just keeps doing that same thing over and over and over again, and I'm like,
I remember when I encountered a house in one of the random battles in the original game. That thing was still hard as shit then. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't easy. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Nightmare House is just, oh my god, it's
a problem.
Literally the worst fight in the game, I think, in my opinion.
So I need to talk about jukeboxes really quick. Or at least a specific jukebox. When there's a jukebox around, letting you know that you can buy a new song.
Yeah.
But you have dialogue in that area, and the song is so incredibly loud that you can barely hear what they're saying. That happens way too much.
I don't think
it happened with Moggy.
I don't think. Oh,
So when
yeah, because of the gold sauce. I would have.
Yeah,
yeah.
when I talked to
is-
Moggy, I was like, I can't hear
that
what
is
anybody's
loud.
fucking
Yeah.
saying.
I think that's the only time I have ever really had that problem.
I had it a
mod.
couple of
Okay.
times. Well, it seems like the other times the dialogue is loud enough or the song is quiet, but the golden saucer
The gold sauce
theme
music
is really
blares.
fucking loud.
Yeah, it's just like blaring in your ear. Yeah.
Um,
By the way,
sleeps. Oh yeah.
you can farm Koopa medals real easy.
I
fun
only need
fact.
20 more total. Well, I need 20 total to finish everything off. Actually,
Dude,
even might be less. No, I need.
The amount, like, I think the game naturally gives you a shit ton of Moogle medals, like, already. But, like, dude, when the box
need 10
game,
more,
when you play the
I think.
Whack-A-Box game, oh my god, I spent a good 30 minutes just grinding medals. Because, like,
I still need to, max out.
Yeah, you get a medal
the other-
each just for playing. So I was just
Damn.
so I would literally just start, I'd leave, I'd go get something to eat, and I would just come back. Like, because it's just like, they give you, like, I think a minute and 45, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, alright, cool, minute and 45, I'm not doing anything. And then I get a
I guess
Moogle
I'll
medal.
just sit
and I'm
here
like,
and wait.
yeah, like, alright, and then I get a Moogle medal. Cool. I did that for like 30 minutes so that way I could get all the books and whatnot.
So the books just automatically give you points, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because I got a couple. I got
Yeah.
one for Aerith and I got one for Cloud because they were the ones that I was using at the time, and it didn't really
Yeah.
seem to jump my numbers
Yeah,
up that much.
I believe they just give you a flat 10 SP just right there.
Oh, okay. Well,
Um,
that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Sleeps and stuns are broken.
Oh my god, sleeps.
Sleeps are really dumb.
Oh my god. There's a if you
Especially in fights of 3 or more stronger enemies.
Here's what also is dumb. I guess this fits under stuns, but when an enemy, specifically the fucking whatever the little like I don't even know what, like the leech alien things, I don't remember what they're called. They're like trash somethings.
I don't know if I've encountered them yet.
No, you have.
The
like-
Shinra mutant things that have the sickle
It's
strike
like,
thing?
No, not those. It's the little like they're like leeches, but they have legs. They have like just a giant
the
mouth.
Gorsers things?
Yeah, the Gorgers. That's it. The Gorgers. When a fucking Gorger just leaps on you and you just can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You just have to sit there and watch while you're being eaten. Like,
Oh, yeah. The
Oh
binds.
my
That's what
God.
they are. Binds. Really annoying.
Yeah. I don't know if you've encountered them yet. I think you have, but they're like these little flying fish things that they
The blue goose.
the blue goose, yeah. The blue goose. Oh my god. A blue goo mixed with literally any other kind of enemy is just pure cancer. Because I hate because they use the little bubble cones and you put them to sleep. They put you to sleep, and then I'm like, all right, cool. I'll switch to somebody else. Oh no, they're asleep now too. All right, switch to the last person. Oh no, they're being eaten by a Gorger. All right, cool.
There
Love
was
being able to play the game.
there were 2 fights that really frustrated me, and they were both during the Sector 5 section. And one is a side mission. Well, actually, they're both side missions. So one's a side mission where you have to go help visit the old man's wife's grave, and you have to fight those like scorpion.
Yeah, the
thingies.
poison. That poison.
It wasn't the poison that was getting me. It
Oh,
was the
poison got me.
constant like web shooty stuff.
Oh yeah,
Like, I'm
it
trying to
slows you.
focus on one.
Yeah,
And it'll sleep you, or it'll
Yeah.
just slow you, and then you're like, okay, I can't do anything.
Yep.
And then you switch over to Aerith, and you're like, okay, now I just have to fucking heal him so he doesn't die.
Yep.
Until you whittle it down to one, fights of 3 or more stronger enemies are really frustrating.
Yeah.
A group of like 10 enemies can be annoying, but if they go down quickly enough, then it's not a problem. But if
Yeah.
you can't even get one staggered, and even if you do get it staggered and they stun you, and you can't do anything, it's kind of an issue.
Yeah. That was
The other fight was the Toad King fight, where it has the hedgehog.
Oh, and it bounces.
Hedgehog pies. Yeah, they started
bounce.
using abilities that I've
my
never
God.
seen, and then they just start healing each other, and I'm like, how do I kill these things?
Yeah.
Like
it starts
I
bouncing.
wasn't,
I'm like, fucking
I didn't
Christ,
know what the hell to
please.
do. I was like, this is something that I've never seen before, because
Mm-hmm.
they just look like normal hedgehog pies.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what the
was
fuck?
I was doing like a Coliseum battle, and I had to fight like 3 of those. I had to fight the Toad King and 2 hedgehog pies, and literally I got locked into one of them just bouncing constantly, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I literally can't do anything to get away right now.
You can dodge.
You can, but like I couldn't time it, so I just kept
Oh.
getting. He would just keep like, I think what happened was he would bounce, and then the Toad King would hit me, so I'm like stuck in the animation of being hit, and then
Oh,
he'd
God.
bounce again, and it was just that over and over and over again. I'm like, oh my God, please just
That's so
let me go. And then what was it? There's a fight that I really hated, and it's in the same vein as those fights, where it's I think it was the what was it? I want to say it was first in the Smoggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, fighting a Smogger was just like such an annoyance, because especially when you fight, there's one that's, have you done the Angel of the Slum side quest yet?
No.
Okay, there's one that's like you have to you're working for like the newspaper, and he's like trying to get the scoop on like the Angel of the Slums, which is basically the Final Fantasy's version of Robin Hood, essentially.
Okay.
And you go to like her hideout to see if you find any information there, and there's a boss there that you fight, and it's this giant ass robot, and basically it's got like a giant wrecking ball for an arm, and so you can use lightning on the wrecking ball to fill the stagger gauge, or you can just try attacking directly. But it's basically like a Smogger on steroids, because it has like it spins around in a circle, and it does like a lightning fog, and then it also sprays silence gas as well. I think also the gas poisons you too, so it poisons you and silences you. And I'm like, I do not like this fight, because I struggled really hard because I just had difficulties with camera targeting and whatnot.
Sure.
Because I don't like how the targeting works in this game, because I don't know, maybe it's just how I play, but like I'm constantly always like trying to move the camera and look around, and constantly I ran into the problem of like I would be targeting one enemy, I would move the camera around because he'll just jump away, so I'm moving to try and follow him, and then I would target another enemy that's like right next to it, and I'm like, well,
the targeting doesn't work in this like it does in Kingdom Hearts 2, where you hit R1 or L1 and it'll switch targets.
Yeah,
it's you move the stick and then it switches targets.
Yeah, you have to move the stick and move to switch target. I'm like, why is this why? Why do you have that as a like control?
The camera is kind of an issue. There were a couple. Oh yeah, so I have found the combat overall really satisfying.
Yes,
because it took me a while to learn. When I first started the game, it's kind of like when you start Dark Souls for the first time. You're like, this is clunky as shit.
Yeah.
But then it's really hectic. The combat is really hectic, and if like I definitely get people being upset that it's not turn-based, because that can really slow things down and get the pace more on your level, if that's how you want to play, and you're this isn't really a normal action RPG, because it's not constant, where you can kind of plan things out or not. Well, you know what you're expecting in both a turn-based and a like constant action game. And this is a weird blend between the two.
Yeah.
Because you have to stop to do an ability, do a spell, do an item, do a summon, do a limit, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was having a really hard time, and I noticed when you first started streaming it too, was juggling between everybody's ATB gauge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like I still have issues with it every once in a while. But it's just like, okay, Aerith has one, Tifa has 2. Cloud has 1.
Yeah.
Barrett's about to get his.
Yeah, and the problem too is that like if you're not directly controlling them, the ATP charge is so damn slow. Yeah. Like
so,
oh
yeah,
my gosh,
and you're constantly moving over. I'm really glad that you don't have to switch over to them to use their abilities. Yeah. You can just hit R2 or L2. I'm not sure if it works both ways. And then you can just use one of them.
Yeah.
And you can just go into their menu, and then you can keep using Cloud if that's who you're using, or you can keep using Barrett or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like though that when the game was developed and this mechanic was implemented, I think the way the developers intended for you to play was I think they wanted you to just constantly be switching characters. I think. Yeah. That's how it feels, which I kind of hate.
I don't like. There are specific scenarios where I'm like, okay, I have to use Barrett here, and I'm fine with it. Yeah, I actually like using Barrett.
Yeah.
And that's whenever there is a flying enemy. Otherwise, I'm not going to use Barrett.
Yeah.
Tifa, everybody says they really like Tifa. I don't like using Tifa because 1, she's really squishy. 2, she has to be even closer than Cloud does, and she's squishy, and she doesn't do a ton of damage.
Yeah, I really like using Barrett, not even just with there's a flying enemy. Eventually, I was like, if I could switch to Barrett, that was who I was going to, that's who I played as. Because 1, he was ranged, so he didn't have to be close to the boss. And then 2, Barrett for me, I think everyone else on my team had, I want to say, 4,000, 5,000 health, roughly. Barrett on my team had 8 to 9,000 health.
He's such a truck.
He's a goddamn truck, and it's awesome. As well as
that's how he was in the early game.
I also started to appreciate his stone skin ability a lot more because you can't be interrupted. You can just freely do stuff, and almost no matter what, he's not gonna get interrupted. If he's casting something, it's gonna go off. And I was like, this is actually amazing. And it frustrated me that I wanted to play as Barrett, but later on in the game, it was always just no, you get Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith. You do not get Barrett at all. And I'm like, really?
Of what I've experienced, my perfect party would be Cloud, Barrett, and Aerith. And that's not to say that I don't like Tifa.
Who was the last one? Aerith?
Cloud, Barrett, and Aerith.
Ah.
And that's not to say I don't like Tifa. I really like Tifa. I like her as a character. Her kid is really interesting. She's just kind of hard to play.
Yeah, it's actually interesting you say that.
She just constantly gets knocked back.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because my perfect team is Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa, actually.
Yeah, I love Aerith's kit.
Yeah, I think
she does so much magic damage.
I think
and
Tifa
she's ranged.
Is.
It's so easy.
Tifa's. I really like. See, I didn't like Aerith because of her basic attacks felt really slow to me.
Yeah, but they charge.
They do
so fast.
They do, but they were really really slow for me, and then also they were really easy to get intercepted. I was constantly having a problem with Aerith's attacks that they would always get caught on something, especially because they're ranged. That I would just I throw a spell out and it would kind of whip all away, whip around, and it would hit a wall or hit a rock or something, and I'm just Aerith's not doing anything. She's not getting ATB because she just keeps missing
whiffing.
Or whiffing, whatever. And so I really liked playing as Tifa because, and I think it's one of the things where you just kind of have to play as Tifa. You can't just let Tifa do her own thing.
No,
you have to
she
actually
will die.
Control Tifa to do stuff, which I did like actually because it was cool to just be because Tifa, if you can. If you can find an opening for an enemy or for a boss, Tifa's ATB gauge charges like that.
Yeah, really
it
fast.
Is instantaneously. Which is also, I should mention, that playing as Tifa in the remake got me to want to play Monk in Final Fantasy 14 because I was I would finish playing the remake that every night and I'd just be I want to punch more stuff. And I'm Monk does that. And I'm I want to be able to punch more things. And I'm I need my fix. I had the need now. Like, I had the addiction to speed. But yeah, so like playing as Tifa is just, it felt so good to find an opening, and even if you couldn't find an opening, like getting in like just a couple jabs and then just like dodging away was like that was literally the strategy that I had for Tifa. It was like I just played guerrilla warfare.
I feel like she would be really good with deadly dodge.
With what?
Deadly dodge.
Yeah, probably. I
only use it on Cloud.
Dude, I had to stop using deadly dodge just because.
Really?
Yeah, I just it was like okay, but like I had a lot of other stuff that I wanted to level, and so I just the need to use deadly dodge just kind of lost its appeal.
I think once I max it out, then I'm not going to use it because it's what I'm going to try and get as many things as I can maxed out, and then be like, all right, these are my best things. Yeah,
like I kept getting like MP up materia, HP up, magic up. Like I just kept getting a bunch of other materia that I'm like, I want to level this first because this is just so much better.
Mm-hmm.
So like I really just literally never got around to leveling up deadly dodge anymore, because of it. But like yeah, like I would agree, like with deadly dodge, Tifa was probably like super great, and then like it felt really good to just like when an enemy was staggered, dude, I was there, like unbridled strength twice, rise and fall, omni strike, whirling uppercut, and then switch to Cloud for braver, and I'm like, and they're dead, and I'm like, all right, that's it. Switch to Barret, get maximum fury in, which by the way, you'll get a maximum fury is probably my favorite ability with Barret because it's so satisfying.
Dude, I've seen.
Oh my god!
Really just annihilates things,
dude. Barret's maximum fury ability is what I wish Luminous Ray did for Aerith, and it doesn't, and I'm so infuriated by it. Because another thing is that
it tracks.
Like, it tracks, yeah. Maximum Fury tracks. Luminous Ray does
multiple targets.
Yeah. With Barret's Maximum Fury, it'll always go to the next target. Whereas Aerith's Luminous Ray, it's even if it kills a target, it won't target something else. It won't track. You're just firing your laser.
That's frustrating.
In a direction, and I'm like, why? What's the point? It's really sad because a lot of Aerith's abilities really aren't great. Like, no. I'll be honest. Like,
yeah, that sorcerer one that you were talking about earlier.
Sorcerer's Storm is like probably one of the really best ones. Like,
yeah, but it's a cast from her position.
Yeah. So
it is a self cast. Yeah. So yeah, but you have to get close as a ranged character.
Yeah.
So it's telling you, hey, don't play how you're supposed to play with this character, because magic is used from a range, and her abilities are used from a range, or sorry, her attacks are used from a range, but her abilities are all used right next to an enemy. It's really dumb.
Yeah. I will say that I really enjoyed I really liked her Arcane Ward. Arcane Ward is awesome.
How does that work?
It's
that word.
You throw it onto somebody, and then
you throw it on somebody else.
You can throw it on anybody. You can throw it on her. It's just wherever you want.
It's just some. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just wherever you throw it. If you're in that space and cast a spell, you'll cast twice. It's just double cast basically. Yeah. So like and it's I think it's any offensive spell. I think. Okay. So like I would do.
So that's how you get the proficiency up. Is it you cast a spell when it comes down?
No, the proficiency you get is if you just cast it.
Just use it?
Time.
Okay.
You just use it, yeah. You get proficiency every time you use the ability.
Well, I wasn't noticing the gauge. Or, like, usually it tells me, hey, you've gained proficiency with something.
I don't know what the bonus is. I never read the bonus for what to get for it. But Arcane Ward is super nice because, like, especially when you get Magnify, because Magnify is whatever materia you have linked to it, it basically turns the spell into essentially like an AoE, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like, so for like multiple groups, what I would do is I would try to throw down an Arcane Ward, and then whoever had my Magnify, I'd make sure that they're standing in it, or I'd throw the Arcane Ward on whoever had my Magnify. I would cast like Thunder, Magnify, whatever, and not only so like the thunder goes off, it will strike. Let's say there are 5 enemies. The thunder goes off. The thunder hits 5 enemies, and then a second wave of thunder will hit them again. And I'm just like, this is great. This is like, and it's really good against bosses, especially when they have a weakness against a certain element, because you would just Thundaga twice.
Yeah.
And it's a second cast for free without having to use ATB. So I really like. So Arcane Ward was
use?
Like, it does use
mana?
MP. Yes,
Okay.
it does use MP. But the biggest thing is that you don't have to use ATB for it. You just get it. Which was the most beneficial thing. It's like if I have to use MP, sure, at least I get an instant second cast of whatever I'm casting. Like, that's legit. And then I used Arcane Ward a lot for Aerith. I used Sorcerer's Storm, even though it was kind of a pain because you have to be close, but still good though. And then I used, what was the other thing I used? It was Fleeting Familiar, which like you use it and you just have a little like fairy next to you, and it will just do extra damage when you basic attack, basically. Or like with you, I think it'll shield people if you use a healing spell on somebody, I think, or something like that. But it was kind of awkward because it was like it was hard to notice when you notice that it did anything when you had it up. But it was cool. But yeah, a lot of Aerith's abilities, I'm just like, this doesn't help me at all.
Dumb.
Like, this is kind of dumb. And I thought Luminous Ray was gonna be great, and then I was like, I can't direct it anywhere, so that sucks. And even another thing too is that like if an enemy's in the air, Aerith only. So Luminous, again, I have so many problems with Luminous Ray. I have so many issues with it. Another thing about Luminous Ray is that if you target an aerial enemy, Aerith will shoot the ray at the ground still. Like, it's always at her eye level is where she'll shoot the ray. So if an enemy is above you, she won't shoot it up. It'll stay at eye level, and she'll just fire it in their general direction.
It sounds like there are definitely some
it's not great.
Improvements to be made
yeah.
on the subsequent games.
Yeah. Yeah. And then playing as Barret is real satisfying. I will freely admit. Especially because Barret is a beefcake in more senses than one.
Yeah. There's I've really been appreciating the voice acting.
Yeah.
And the writing within the voice acting. Like, not just, so you and I have talked a lot about Cloud and Sephiroth.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some NPCs that have really well done lines. Yeah. Even if they are just a handful of lines. The old man that I was talking about that you have to visit the graveyard of is like his lines were delivered with weight and emotion and like sadness and all this stuff. And it was really cool. I was really nice. There was so right when you turn that quest in, Aerith, whose voice actress I didn't initially like, but I do really like now, had a really interesting line, and it's
I think I know.
Don't think you can rely on me forever.
Huh.
She said that, and then some other line, which are super heavy foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So like immediately, so it was like, yeah, don't think you can rely on me forever. My salary is really like high or something, and there was something else, like I won't always be around or something. And it was just like, God damn, Square, like, you don't gotta remind me so much. And then there was Shinra
nice that, like,
bitches get what they deserve.
Yeah.
That one.
I think one of my favorite thing was it really made me laugh, probably a lot more than probably should have, but it's when you first meet Aerith and you're scaling the rooftops. And you climb the ladder, really, and it's like and Cloud's just like, be careful, like and she's like, it's fine. I'm not some princess that needs to be coddled all the time. And she just goes, shit.
Shit.
And it was just like the thought of just like this almost arguably perfect angel of a woman just going, shit.
Shit.
Like it made me laugh so much because I'm just like, I love that these characters have so much more depth to them and so much more personality to them than just being like their party members, you know. And I think that's what I liked about what it reminds me of 10, because 10, it's like you have all these party members, you have a lot of party members, but they're all really interesting. They're actually is
most of them are pretty.
Most of them are interesting, but most of them, you know, there is more than just one dimension to them. They're not just there as your party members. You know, they have feelings, they have thoughts, they have actual opinions, and they have certain mannerisms. And so I love the fact that with the voice acting, especially even with like side characters, a lot of times, like with like Rude and Reno, they're dynamic. I love that they're dynamic, and like the partnership that they have is really, really awesome, and I love seeing that relationship that they have between them. I also said this too, we even talked about it on Discord. I am a little disappointed that Quentin Flynn does not voice Reno anymore. I find that a little disappointing.
I was really sad because he was, you know,
he was a
Axel's
great Reno.
My favorite character, and Axel is pretty much the reason that Reno exists.
Yeah.
When you really think about it.
He's Reno is. I mean, I guess you'd say Axel is the Kingdom Hearts Reno.
Yeah.
And I even said this on stream because I
having
forgot.
Him without the others really.
Yeah, rough. I forgot that Quentin Flynn voiced Reno, but I was like, I said this on stream, and I'm like, you know, they should have had Axel's voice actor voice Reno instead. Like, I think he would have been a really good job.
And then you're like, wait a second.
And then I looked it up on stream. I was like, oh, he did voice Reno.
Oh,
why did they have him again?
That was
and I'm
the
like,
thing they did.
Yeah, and it was just like, ah, oh, damn. But like, I like not to bash the current voice actor. He still does a very good job. Like he still does a very. Flynn. He's just not. Yeah, it's.
I don't think there's another voice actor in the whole thing that's like the other voice actor is clearly better.
Well, Sephiroth is arguably,
and
it's just like
I haven't heard enough of Zach. I'm very partial to Zach's voice.
Yeah, you haven't. Yeah. Esperin and I talked about this on stream. Zach's voice actor is not bad, but it doesn't fit the age of how Zach looks.
Okay.
Like the voice for Zach, it sounds too young to be adult Zach. Like, and I had to, I described the way I described it on stream was the voice actor for Zach sounds like, it sounds like kid Zach from Kingdom Hearts.
That's the same voice
That's
actor.
what it sounds like for me, and I'm just kind of like it just sounds way too young.
Okay.
He sounds like super like I would say that Crisis Core Zach at the end of it is mid to young adult. So I would say early 20s, early to mid 20s, I would say. The voice actor for the remake for Zach sounds like late teens, mid to late teens. And I'm just like, it's too, Esper described it as too tinny, and I would agree with that. It's too high. And I think it needs to be just a tad bit deeper. There needs to be more, I guess, bass, for lack of a better term. There just needs to be more bass in the voice. And it sounds like they're still going through puberty. And it's just like a little awkward. It just doesn't fit. But again, like, I haven't heard, like, there hasn't been too much that I've heard. Obviously, there's obviously not too much that you hear. You only hear a couple lines, but again, from like first impressions, I'm like, it's way too young.
Yeah,
like, it really just does. He just sounds way too young, and I'm like, he needs to be just a few years older. And then we've talked about this too, is that Sephiroth, it's not bad, but I just don't feel afraid.
Yeah.
Like, I just do not feel threatened. I feel mildly seduced.
That's
I feel mildly seduced, but I do not feel fear. And I think with Sephiroth, you need to have a little bit of an arousal, but it's like 60% fear, 40% arousal, and
100% reason to be afraid.
Exactly, yeah. And with the current voice actor, I feel like 70% arousal, 30% fear, and I'm like, it's too much. we gotta bring this back a little. What else? I don't know if you saw this on my stream, but when you fight Rufus, which is the president's President Shinra's son,
I watched that
holy shit. That is a cool ass fight. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
His
super frustrating.
Shotguns,
but oh my god.
Cool.
So fucking cool. Like, I was like, I was super frustrated with that fight because you have to fight. It's a 2v1, and like you can't attack him unless you kill the dog, and like the only way to kill the dog is to just get him away, which is almost impossible. But like, oh man, fighting Rufus, that was, I would say for me, that was probably my favorite fight, just because it was so cool. Like, I wasn't even mad that I was getting the shit kicked out of me. I was actually like, you know what?
His coin thing.
Yeah, all the little coin tricks that he had, and like, I like, even with like the cocky attitude that he had, I'm like, you know what? If I was Rufus and I was doing all these sick coin tricks, I also would be pretty cocky.
Yeah.
Like, it fit perfectly with who he was as a character, and I was like, I am in love with everything about this right now. Like, it was hands down probably, the Rufus fight is hands down probably my favorite fight, because it was just so awesome. And like him whipping out like the shot, like changing his shotgun into two different shotguns, I was like, this guy is just too great. Like, honestly, like, I almost want to lose just so I could fight this dude again, because it was so much fun. I loved
his design. I was a little sad they switched him from being a redhead to the silver hair.
He's a redhead? Really?
Yeah, Rufus had red hair.
Really? Did he really? I have to look this up now.
Well, okay. In the original,
is it
his his character model. It looked orange, but it's like blonde. In the,
it's like blonde in the original art,
but it's
blondish.
But if you actually look like at an in-game model, it's orange. Like, it's straight orange.
Interesting.
Okay. But then in Advent Children, it was that so light that it's not even blonde, and then now it's white.
Just silver.
It's just silver. And yeah. I like it. I love his design. I think he looks really cool. I'm just like, I miss redhead.
Oh yeah, it is. It is orange in the
very
game.
orange.
Yeah. It's very orange. That's very true. Yeah, it's very orange. I like his design overall. I said this on stream. I don't like the bottom half of his coat. If you look at like a full body image of him, I absolutely hate it.
It's really weird.
Because it just looks like a shitty Lulu cosplay.
Yeah.
It drives me insane. Because I'm just
those are just
why?
His pants.
Yeah, but like there's just like belts and straps everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
This is a game that's designed by Tetsuya Nomura, so...
Yeah, I just wish they'd just give him in pants, honestly. Like, I really wish they just give him pants. Like, it's just so dumb. I hate it. But again, for as much as I gripe and complain about certain things about this game, the pros by far outweigh the cons, like 100%. Like, yeah, there are a lot of things that kind of like annoy me, set me off, but like overall, all the pros of the game very easily offset all those things. Where it's like, I'm like, yes, I'll be mildly annoyed, but for the most part, I finished playing and I'm like, that was really, really fun.
This game is like does for me what I wanted Kingdom Hearts 3 to do for me.
Mm.
I am enjoying pretty much every bit of it. And what I haven't, or what I started off not enjoying, I have since come to appreciate much more. The combat, the changes, and with me accepting those things more, I have noticed like some other things, like there are some definite texture issues. Like that for some reason, when Cloud's talking to somebody, and they kind of offset the camera a little bit, and you can see more of the background.
Yeah.
A lot of the textures are not completely loaded, and that's fine. It's a small gripe.
I think
because
I would argue that that's more of like a. I would argue that's more of like a cinematic thing, because it's like you have.
Well, there's a difference between something being out of focus,
I guess,
and actually bad
and just
textures.
not loading, and just not being.
And that's what it is. Like I can look at it as, oh yeah, it's not, it's out of focus, but it's not. It is definitely like a texture not loading fully.
Yeah.
And any character that is not a normal, like, a character that you're going to have extended dialogue with looks like crap.
Look like trash, right?
They look
pretty
bad.
So bad. It's
like
dumb.
All the little kids that are in Sector 5, they're like, so this is a game that's made in Japan. So obviously the lip syncing is not going to be on
right
exactly.
Yeah.
But the lip syncing with a lot of the little kids is so bad. It looks like a PS2.
Bad.
Like they're like, ma, ma.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh my god.
Talking to almost anyone in that game.
Those are my like biggest gripes at
God.
this point. Those are really the only things that I have a problem with. I like the changes that they've made to the story.
Bad, I would say.
Yeah.
It's like comically bad. I'm like,
I'm not
why?
like upset at the game for any reason, but it's just like, damn, dude.
For the amount of effort and detailing, it is like, it's like, how could this have been missed?
Yeah, right? Because you're like, we're gonna put all this effort into making this game look really good, but you're gonna leave those there,
you're missing very crucial points,
and you're gonna make us look at it.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. It's like, okay, well, if they're gonna be in the background, then sure, but you're forcing us to have conversations with these people that you obviously didn't put a lot of effort into.
I think I said this on stream, but I was like, talking to almost any NPC in this game, it feels like I'm talking to like a randomly generated character that you would make in like Fallout.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like someone in the Fallout character creator, someone hit the random button and then they said okay. And then that was just like how any NPC you talked to was. And I was like, I hate this so much.
There are two characters. I mean, this is really dumb. I just found them extremely annoying. So you have to rescue two kids. That they're surrounded. They were in the water.
Oh
and and then you're coming back after you rescue them. They're like, they like are enamored with Cloud now because he saved them and he's a soldier. And then they're like, no, he was more like this. Yeah. And then he's like, no, it's like this. Yeah. It's like, you guys are saying the exact same thing over and over and over again. Like, you aren't saying anything different.
No, because one kid was like, ha, yeah, and the other kid was like, yeah.
It just reinforced my hatred.
Obviously, you just don't understand.
It just reinforced my hatred for children. I don't like kids. I really don't like them. And it's basically, that is the epitome of why I don't like kids. You're just shut up for 3 seconds. Oh my god. But that was an Aerith quest.
So yeah.
And Aerith is kind of a thought.
Okay. Go on.
She's kind of a thought. Like,
go on.
she's kind of thirsty.
I need more context, please.
And she kind of throws it at you a little bit.
Examples. Give me some examples.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but she's not subtle. Like, Tifa's actually kind of subtle.
I mean, Aerith wasn't subtle in the original game.
No, I know. But now she has, like, a pretty model behind it. And it was like...
How dare you? The original Aerith model was also pretty. How dare you? How dare you? How fucking dare
and
you?
I've seen some gameplay from Wall Market, and it gets even more, like... Damn. She wants the Cloud dick. Like, hard.
I mean, look. She even says it. She even said it that... what is it? Cloud reminds her of the first person she ever loved. You know?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You know, because of his big sword.
His big sword, same clothes, similar-ish hair.
Exact same memories. You know? That's weird.
Exact same memories. It's almost as if
I love how he has
person.
all of the memories except for Aerith. I remember everything except for you. You didn't leave much of an impression. That's kind of a like almost a dick move when you think about it.
But I mean, like,
this is the most important thing in my world, except for you.
God, I almost want just the sound clip of you just saying, "Aerith is kind of a thought." I just want that bit. Oh my god. But I mean, I don't know. I would argue that Tifa is if we're doing this. This is a competition.
Okay.
If this is a competition.
Okay. If we're talking thoughtiest thought, then it's Jessie.
It's Jessie. Hands down, it's Jessie. But I don't know. I feel like Tifa is also like, she just like constantly throws herself at Cloud as well. I mean,
well,
again, she does.
I mean, when you have
game.
a ratio like Tifa does, how can you not?
Wow. Wow.
You're just like, I'm standing right in front of you, and you're not immediately jumping on me.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But I feel like a lot of times it's like a lot of the early conversations I had that you had with Tifa, it made me mildly uncomfortable because I'm just expecting them to just start making out. Legitimately, I was like,
fucking.
I was just like like there were so many points where you're first talking with Tifa, and there are like these awkward pauses, and I'm just like, so this is the time. This is like, I was just expecting Tifa to just like jump onto Cloud, and it just fades to black.
You can even see him like being a little like.
Yeah, like so we
he's a little awkward about it, and she's just like, "Are you gonna have sex with me now?
So we gonna do it? Yeah, it's like, so we gonna do it or not?" And I'm like, the entire time I'm just so uncomfortable by it. It's like, I feel like that happens.
Hey, I'll get you a room in the apartment complex I live in, and it's right next door, and I don't keep my door locked.
Hey, we should go out on the town. I'll show you all of what Sector 7 has to offer tomorrow night. Sound good? What should I wear?
Wear the slutty dress. All I have are slutty dresses. Also, I don't believe in underwear. Okay, Tifa.
By the way, I saw a YouTube video actually, and they showcased all of the different dress combinations you can get from Wall Market when Cloud cross-dresses. And I guess
Emily and I watched that together.
So I thought it was really cool at how the remake remixed a lot of the old mechanics or old things from the original game. Because when I played through Wall Market, trying to get to the point where Cloud becomes a pretty princess,
he's a very pretty lady.
He's a very, very pretty lady, honestly. But I was like going through all like the different side quest things, and like I was like, oh, I'm talking to the fashion designer now. He's probably the guy that gives me the dress. Like, I got to make sure I play this correctly and do all this stuff. And then I realized that none of that matters. That's all just like a massive debate.
Yeah.
Because the dress that you get is dependent on who gives you the side quests. And so I had Madam M give me the side quests. And Madam M sent me to... Or no, I had Sam give me the side quests. But apparently you can get Madam M to give you side quests instead. And if Madam M does it, then I guess that is like the best case scenario, I guess.
Oh.
Because Esprit even told me, it was like... Because you get an item from Andrea... when he turns into a lady, and I got earrings, which apparently is like second place, essentially, is the equivalent.
Okay.
And so I found out that if you talk to if Madam M gives you the side quest, you get first place, technically. But to do that, there are like several other dialogue choices that I had done well before that factored into that, and I was just like, holy shit, wow, like they played the long con in this, like. And I thought it was so cool that like a lot of like the choices that seem so trivial early on, that like they boomerang back, like when Tifa asked you know, what should she wear for the date, that determines what she's like gonna wear to Corneo.
6 hours later.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like that was so crazy, insanity. Which, by the way, saying something mature, that is not what I expected her to wear. That was not.
You expected more like business casual?
Kind of. I expected what Aerith wore.
She shows up in what is basically like a nightgown.
Yeah, a lingerie nightgown. I'm just like I was so, again, I was uncomfortable because I'm just like, I want to look, but I also don't want to look.
I feel like I should avert my eyes. This is too hot. This is too sexy.
Super interesting. This ceiling is so fascinating to me. I don't know why.
Where is this nosebleed coming from? Why is this happening to me right now?
So strange. Is it warm in here? It's just got very, very warm.
I need to go change my pants. They're not baggy enough right now.
God, but yeah, I would say that back to our original topic.
Yeah,
I would say that Tifa is arguably more thoughty than Aerith is. I feel like with Aerith, a lot of the interactions that she has, a lot of the flirty interactions she has, is really just teasing. Like I think if Aerith dropped a hint and Cloud took the bait, Aerith would. I would expect Aerith to be like, whoa, it was just a prank.
Yeah.
Whereas with Tifa, if Cloud took the bait, Tifa would be like, oh, we fucking now.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, this is not a joke. This is an actual sign.
Well, I mean, and Jesse's kind of a mixture of the two of them.
And Jessie is a mixture of both. Like
if you say yes before she says psych, then it's like, oh yeah. But if she says psych, and then you're like, okay.
Everything is what is it? What are they called? They're called active time maneuvers.
Yeah.
Everything with Jessie is an active time maneuver. If like you have a limited window to capitalize this, and if you don't, you've missed your chance.
Yeah. Press X now to fuck. Oh, you didn't do it. All right.
No, psych.
Well, yeah. This is Mass Effect. You get like 20 more chances.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Oh my god. It also kind of was like thinking that now, it makes it really funny when she dies. Because
Cloud's response is weird.
Well, it's
who's gonna make me pizza?
Yeah, I mean, like
that's the only thing you can think of.
I think it's fun. Well, I think it's funny because I think it adds more to his personality. Of like, he does care about these characters, and it's his way of trying to like cheer somebody up and like make the situation.
It was more of just like the delivery. Like, well, I get what he was like. That's obvious.
But that's why
that
I like
means he was paying attention, and it means that that moment meant something special to him. It was just like, but who's gonna make me pizza?
Well, yeah. Well, it's because that's. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it makes. I feel like it makes sense in the context of things because of, that's like the price that, he's doing it for when like he's sneaking into the house and doing all this stuff. It's like,
yeah,
she owes him a pizza, and it's like that was like the whole like the whole date thing when you
that
take her
is
home.
kind of his thing. It's just like, hey, you owe me what you owe me. I'm not gonna ask for more. I'm not gonna ask for less.
Yeah, and so it's like it's the same with the orphanage with Biggs. And it's like Biggs is like, hey, like there's this orphanage that I go to in Sector 5. Like it'd mean a lot to me if you went to visit. And Cloud's like, no, you're gonna do it yourself. Like you can visit them when you get out of here, when you live.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I think it makes sense, but it's like thinking how thoughty everyone is in this game now is just really funny because there's this point where it's where that moment where Cloud's like, yeah, you still owe me a pizza, and I forget what Jesse says, but Jesse says something like that, and then Tifa starts crying. And I just like to think that Tifa's crying not it's like not because Jesse's dying, but because Cloud's gonna leave Tifa for Jesse. And then it makes it even better because Jesse goes, oh, Tifa's crying, is it something I said? And I'm like, hell's yeah, it's something you said. You're just taking away her fucking lover. Oh, it's so
something I said. Yeah, I'm
Thinking about it in this context makes it so much funnier, which is really bad because it's a really sad moment.
So, if so plot ghosts, right? This is going somewhere, I promise.
Okay.
Plot ghosts are a thing.
Plot ghosts, yes.
And they're an interesting, not MacGuffin, an interesting like easy out.
Yes.
I guess it's a MacGuffin.
Yes.
Just easily explainable reason why everything is happening.
Yeah.
With very little effort put in.
Yeah, yes.
I
don't mind them.
No, I don't either.
I think
it's very Final Fantasy thing.
Yeah, they're very easy. Like they're very easy out. But I think the way that the remake uses them and utilizes them works very well to their benefit.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really cool to see the plot ghosts, and it's like I'm glad that everyone I'm glad that they acknowledge it. I think is the biggest thing. I think if the ghosts are just there and like only Aerith or like only some people acknowledge it, I'd be like kind of annoyed because it's like, well, like it feels like they're just blatantly like trying to scoop it under the rug. But I like the fact that everyone can see the plot ghosts and everyone is talking about the plot ghosts because it's like there was just constant like what are these or what are they trying to do, and Eric's like explaining everything and they're like, okay, like this adds to our story. Mm-hmm. And I do really like that they're not just trying to brush it under the rug. I'm like, ooh, don't worry about that, don't peek behind the curtain. It's like, don't think about this hey, you want to look behind the curtain, kids? And they're like actively trying to like show you, and like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. So they have changed things to make it go the way that they intend, and they have changed things to go a different way.
Yes.
Which is interesting, and I wanted to know your thoughts on the possibility of Aerith not dying, and my assumption that if Aerith doesn't die, I think they might kill Tifa.
Interesting. I think I would agree. I would agree with that. But I also think that I think it's going to be more of they hint that that Aerith will die, and I think it's going to be that Aerith doesn't die, and that has more ramifications that she doesn't, so she has to die.
Oh,
I think it's going to be more that way of like she is supposed to die, but she doesn't, and that causes like a ripple effect because that changes a lot of things. Similar
that would be interesting.
Similar to how Zack lives, and I think if Zack does live, that has major ramifications throughout the story.
I think that Zach living is what is having those ramifications.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it starts with him living, and I think it starts with, it only gets worse with, I think it would only get worse because of Aerith is supposed to die and then doesn't.
But now, thinking about that, thinking of if Zach's alive and if Aerith lives, who's going to have sex with Aerith?
Zach.
But Cloud's still there.
Cloud's got Tifa.
And also, which one of them is going to use the Buster Sword?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a good question.
You can't both have the Buster Sword.
That's true. That's very true.
I mean, and at the end of the day, I think Zach deserves it more. If we're going by the whole like
wrong,
logic of Crisis Core, it was bequeathed to Zach, and at the end of Crisis Core, it was given from Zach to Cloud to carry on his legacy.
Yes.
But that has changed now because
he lives.
Zach
we think he
woke
lives.
up with his sword and has it, and then walked Cloud with his sword out of that whole area.
Yeah, because he lived.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
You know what would be really interesting is if this wasn't Sephiroth, that it was Zach.
Ooh.
That's changing things.
Yeah. That could be interesting.
Or that Zach is also changing things.
Yeah.
That Sephiroth is trying to change it so he doesn't die, and Zach's trying to change it to, no, you gotta fucking die, dude.
Yeah.
And also, I gotta save my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because where would he be if he knows that, like, if he gave his sword to Cloud and he's not helping the party and it doesn't seem like he's doing anything to stop Sephiroth, where the hell is he? Because obviously he knows Sephiroth. He knows that he's a big problem. He created all of the things that went wrong, essentially, that happened to him. I mean, him and Hojo, and he knows that Hojo's out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know.
I'm
honestly more interested in Zach's side of things than I am in Cloud's.
Same. Because it's like you
so much more about
expected him. I mean, yeah, obviously. But you expect him to die. We all expected him to die.
Mm-hmm.
We all expected a lot of things, and then the remake came out, and they're like, "You are like, no, you're wrong." And I'm just like, okay, at first you had my attention, now you have my curiosity.
Yeah.
And I do like the fact that they string you along like that. I think at the bare minimum, I would appreciate if, knock on wood, if Zach ends up not living and he didn't make it and he does die, I think at the very least I would really like there to be some sort of like closure with Aerith and Zach. Because that's something that did bother me with the whole original and with Crisis Core, was that there really wasn't a whole lot of closure there. It was like Zach died, Aerith didn't know where he was.
Advent Children had closure.
I mean, yeah, okay, Advent Children had closure, but Advent Children's not good, though.
Yeah, the end's good.
The end's okay.
Because the movie stopped.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you see Aerith and Zach together.
Yeah,
and
but
they walk off into death together.
I think what I would really like is, I think is more likely to happen is that Zach didn't make it, but it shows you like these flashbacks of like Zach carrying Cloud to Midgar as they're leaving Midgar, and I think at the end of it, when Aerith dies, I think it's going to be like Aerith understands what happened or gets that sort of context. Because I want to believe, I think that is that these flashbacks represent Aerith is maybe getting like visions or like getting like a feeling of like, oh, this is what happened to him, and this is what he was doing while she was waiting for him. And I think that would be one, really touching, and I think a really good way to kind of connect all these dots too.
So there's one more.
Yeah.
There's one. Obviously, I'm not the first person to bring this up, and it's the biggest like red flag of why Crisis Core doesn't really fit with 7 well. Is because like it is essentially its own standalone thing, because how the hell has she never mentioned that sword? She knows whose that is.
Yes.
110%. She knows whose that is. She knows what soldier is. She knows, the dude fell in the church the exact same way.
Yeah.
This is exactly the same thing, and she never once, I know that. I know what that is. There's actually a Shinra soldier at the beginning of the game that, right when you're surrounded by all the dudes, by all of the Shinra soldiers, there's one Shinra soldier during the cutscene before Cloud jumps onto the train that's like, "Hey, I know that sword." Like it cuts out before he says sword, but even the lip syncing, even though it's in Japanese, it says sword. You know that it does, which means other people know what the Buster Sword is, which means they know who Zack or Angeal are.
Yeah.
So if one random Shinra dude remembers it, Aerith's got to remember it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what possibly what the remake might fill in that gap is, and it's like Aerith secretly does know about the Buster Sword, and again these flashbacks that you see of like Zack and Cloud's journey are her way of understanding and getting the context of what actually happened, of why he didn't come home, where he was going, and what happened ultimately to Zack. And I think that also could help when she eventually may or may not die. I think that also could work as a really good climactic moment of like she comes to this realization of what happened to Zack. She's okay with it. It makes sense, and now it's her turn to either just be with him and sacrifice herself or whatever, plot points, whatever. I think that's that could be a really good narrative point to tie everything in, and that's like it gives you the closure that I want. It gives a good driving point for Aerith to do what she's doing, and I think it ties up a lot of the loose ends that Crisis Core had, the original had, that I think a lot of people were really frustrated about.
I could see in my own head now of a couple scenarios happening that could change how Aerith does or doesn't die. In that Zack could show up right at that time.
Yeah.
And stop it. Or instead himself get killed. Or they both get killed together. Or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be an interesting time to reintroduce Zack.
Yeah.
Because it's a very slow moment. Like, it's a very tender moment.
Yeah.
A lot of emotional weight, and everybody knows what's coming.
Yeah.
And everybody's expecting there to be a change. How would that be for a change? Because we know that Tetsuya Nomura, Zack is like his favorite character.
Yeah. Yeah. The biggest problem that I have with Zack living is, where is he? Like, what is he doing? That's like my biggest problem, because I'm just like, well, okay, obviously Cloud's got the Buster Sword, and if he does live, it's just like he's not with Aerith, and it's like that is like that should have been like the go-to of like, oh, that makes sense, but he's not there if he does live, and it's like, did he die? Does Aerith know that he died? Like, it frustrates. Like, I think that's the worst thing that's the thing I hate the most. That if Zack does live, we need context as to what in the world has he been doing then. And I think without that, I'd rather just have him be dead, because that's a even more frustrating point of like, oh, Zack's been alive this entire time. It's like, okay, why?
Maybe he's Heidegger.
Oh my god, I'd be so angry. I'd be so mad if he was Heidegger.
That doesn't even make sense.
Or maybe
Heidegger had really clearly gray hair.
Yeah. I said this before.
He's just
stream,
rude and he shaved his head.
Yeah. I said this on stream, but I don't. Heidegger's voice actor is okay. But in my head, when I voiced Heidegger, it had a lot more Russian in it, and I'm really disappointed that they didn't do that. I'm really kind of disappointed, but that's just my own thing.
You mean like Zangief?
Yeah, like
Heidegger is just Zangief.
Yeah. Like that in my head, because everything was text based in the original. Like in my head, that's what he sounded like, and then in the remake, I'm like, that's not Heidegger. That's not right. That's wrong.
I like it. It's definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
Like I love John DiMaggio, but it's just John DiMaggio being himself.
Yeah.
Which I know he has a lot of range. It's like anytime you hear Nolan North just doing his Nolan North voice.
Yeah.
Or Troy Baker. Like all of these are all very, very good actors, and then when you hear them doing that same voice that they always do instead of another voice that you know that they can do, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why are you just doing that?
Yeah.
Troy Baker's Jake voice is like, why are you just like slightly putting a little bit more anger in your voice?
Yeah.
You're just delivering these lines that like you're really pissed off at your cat.
Yeah. Kanji's voice is also very similar to that. But
Kanji?
In Persona 4.
Oh, yeah.
Kanji's voice is also like that, but
who voices Kanji?
It works really well because the dialogue itself lends itself very well to the character as well. So even though Troy Baker kind of is basically doing the same voice that he always does, the dialogue lends itself to it works really well in the context. So it's not like as annoying.
Oh wow, I didn't know Troy Baker voiced Kanji.
Yeah.
And Matt Mercer also voices Kanji.
Does he really?
In the anime.
Oh. Yeah. Interesting. They sound very similar, actually. So I didn't know that they were two different people.
Matthew Mercer is a really good actor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah. So Troy Baker voices Kanji in Persona 4 Golden, and it's just Troy Baker.
Yeah.
It's just Troy Baker. But again, the dialogue works. It works really well though with Troy Baker's voice just naturally, and so like. It's not like terribly annoying that it's like, oh, it's just Troy Baker. No, it's Kanji. But with I would agree that with Jake, because of Jake's personality, it's just not there. Like it's just Troy Baker angry. Like, oh, okay, I guess.
Troy Baker angry.
Well, either way, I am looking forward to hearing your other thoughts from playing through the rest of the remake. Obviously, ow! I just hit my elbow on my table. Pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but I think that's a pretty good way for us to wrap things up. We'll come back to this topic once you've finished, or maybe when there's more stuff. There's other stuff that I wanted to talk about, but it's fine. It's fine. Final Fantasy Remake takes priority because this is something that both of us really care about. And again, I'll say again, like I said before, as much as I complain about certain things about the game, all the pros of the remake vastly outweigh the cons. Like they're ultimately at the end of the day. I played the remake and I vastly enjoyed it. I thought it was a great time. I'm very much looking forward to the rest of it, and I definitely want to talk more about the remake, but I want to hear your take on them when you actually experience them for yourself. So we'll definitely talk about this some more and stuff like that. But I think that's probably a good place for us to stop for this episode of the C Plus Podcast. I want to thank everybody who's watching all this stuff. So thank you guys, Joe, so much for joining us. And you can always find Hex and I on our respective Twitch channels. You can also follow us on all sorts of social media. I have my stuff down in the description below. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.